What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the final episode of Cinema Discussions for 2020. I kind of misspoke with the last episode. I said that was the penultimate one, so this one is the final one. But anyway, we made it through this crazy year. Hope everyone's okay. But right now, let's focus on today's subject. I want to end it on a good one. I want to make this one be more like, how I say this, a good. Let's see, which one would you prefer better? It's more like, what's your preference kind of thing. Like, who's the better actor, who's a better actor to play this or that? You get my point. So today's subject, I want to talk about super sleuths. And of course, I know what you're thinking. Wait, super sleuths? Detectives. Oh, yes. When you think detectives, I think, and who you think? You think of Sherlock Holmes, but who's the other one I'm thinking of? Hercule Poirot. Oh, yes. So today I want to ask you, everyone, who do you think is the better super sleuth? Is it Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, or is it Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot? Now, to break this down, let's talk about the origins of each of these famous detectives. Obviously, both of them are come from classic literature. Both of them come from very acclaimed writers. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes has appeared in, let's see, so many how would I say. I'm going to lose track. I'm going to say more than a dozen stories, but has appeared in a lot of movies, more often than you think, believe it or not. And of course, when you think Sherlock Holmes, who's the first person that comes to mind when you think that has embodied this character or brought it to life the most, or made it iconic? The first is obviously Basil Rathbone. He brought it to life back in the 30s and 40s. So yes, and there was something about him like that made him iconic. What iconic was, like, I don't know if it was his face. It was just something about him, like this otherworldly thing. And here's another thing. Don't forget, Basil Rathbone is also a classically trained actor. He's one of those guys from that era of acting. You know, your guys like Laurence Olivier and Vincent Price and all those guys. Which, how ironic, him and Price would eventually appear in a few movies together, but in their later years. But anyway, so to me, Basil Rathbone is like the earliest emblematic, iconic actor that has brought Sherlock Holmes to life. And let's see, I've seen a few of those early cinema ones with Basil Rathbone as this character. So him, I feel like set the bar. Like he set the bar. Like how these murder mystery thrillers would work, and how well he takes this role and runs with it. The saga, it really plays into his favor, and of course just leaves you with desiring more. So there's that. Then on the opposite coin, you have Hercule Poirot. Now I know what you're thinking. When you think Peirot, you're like, wait a minute, Peirot didn't come until much later. Yes, once the 30s and 40s were done, people were like, okay, who's the next? What was going to come next? Enter Hercule Poirot from Agatha Christie. And now by this time, Agatha Christie was starting to get up there in that. And of course, Hollywood came a knocking. They said, so we would like to adapt Murder on the Orient Express into a movie. And believe it or not, due to her wishes, she was able to see at least a final cut of that movie before she passed away. And she kind of met them all the famous people on that movie. So Albert Finney is the first one to bring this character Poirot to life. And I don't know about it, but there was some kind of charm with him, and I kind of liked it. And it was nice. And and I kind of find this ironic is that this guy will eventually play and come back in a Bond movie, so it's kind of cool to see how things come full circle. But anyway, to me, Albert Finney really nailed the role. Like his bit of a pseudo OCD thing, a bit of trying to it's like things go over his head at first, then he realizes, hold on, I need to focus on the task at hand. And of course, so it's like all these different mannerisms from Poirot. So there you got the earliest incarnations of these characters. So who do you think is the better one? Is it their presentation? Is it how their actors are portrayed? Well, it's all depends on your pick. And of course, obviously, over time, movies and shows have come and gone have brought these characters to life and introducing in different ways. Apparently, I've seen probably Hannah the Baskervilles at least several times, depending on which version you watch. I own the Hammer version of Hannah the Baskervilles, which features Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing was a fine Sherlock Holmes for the first color Sherlock Holmes movie. But the one that I still remember is, I think it was the early 90s version that starred Jeremy Brett as Sherlock Holmes. And believe it or not, I actually heard about this, is that Jeremy Brett actually nailed this role perfectly because Jeremy Brett himself actually had a learning disability. I'm like, huh. Really? So it kind of worked hand in hand, and it was like you had no idea whether he was playing himself or playing Sherlock Holmes. And it really worked. And I've seen that Hound of the Baskervilles version at least 3 or 4 times now, and it still ends up good one. But I like the old one that Hammer produced. Better yet, I even like the other ones. But now, what about the Sherlock Holmes remakes with Robert Downey Jr.? I'll admit this right now, they're entertaining. But Robert Downey Jr., I don't know, it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. It's like he's entertaining, he can be funny, but he can be very witty, and it's like I get where he's trying to go with this. He's like, and so at least he's starting to hit some different mannerisms and a certain kind of Sherlock Holmes that I've seen. And of course, the fact that, this Sherlock Holmes is more hands-on, he could be more of an action-packed kind of guy, kind of tells me, okay, this Sherlock Holmes doesn't pack no punches. So, yeah. So, I don't know. No, depending on how you look at it, Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is, I would say is a fine performance, but to me, would not match up to the performance of a level like a Jeremy Brett or Pierre Cushing or hell, even Basil Rathbone. So to me, so if I had to narrow it down to my top 4 rankings of this character played by 4 different actors, that's my ranking for that. What about Peirot? So, Albert Finney has played him in, believe it or not, 2 or 3 movies, I believe. No, it was 2 movies. He eventually got recast in a later one. And of course, here's the thing. These weren't as commercially successful as the Sherlock Holmes ones. Because the ones that was produced by Warner Bros. Sorry for my voice there. Like they didn't get enough exposure. They were seen more as like a commercial flop. One was actually a made-for-TV produced one, and it kind of did not deliver. But some of these characters, but the way the actors were able to give Peirot a run for his money and like bring him to life, I think they did a good job. And then I saw the Murder on the Orient Express remake, and to me, I felt like this kind of put more of a neo-noir spin on this classic Agatha Christie tale. And kudos to the production design for the remake. I really loved the fact that they kept it to the same time period. I loved how they kept it to this. The visuals would say would need a little bit of effect, but a little bit more. But for some reason it gave it off more like a neo-noir kind of thing. Like I don't know. It's like first impressions when you first see that promotion, or first see the trailer, or you see like the production poster. It gave off that vibe, and of course. I think, of course, it's not a bad movie. I'd say it's a good adaptation, but I was expecting a little bit more. I love how they do the shock twist reveal, which is perfect. Kenneth Branagh does a fantastic job. Still sticking with the OCD things that made that character good. But now I'm overlooking another iconic actor, and that's David Suchet from the BBC one. People say that actor actually embodied Peirot better. Like what I think it was just the fact that Suchet was able to pull it off, and that he was more adverse to more of Agatha Christie's work. I think that's how he was able to take the role and run with it. So yeah. So yeah, now you see how different these characters are, but it's all depends on how you pick which guys you want to pick. To me, the best modern Sherlock Holmes, I think, is really good. I feel like I would say just slightly better than Kenneth Branagh's modern version of Peirot. But that's the theatrical stuff. But if you want to talk television, nothing beats the BBC. There's just something about the BBC that really says, okay, and this is how we roll. We're good at what we do. And yes, like I hate to say that the BBC stuff is superior than our Americanized stuff, but like I said, it all depends on how you look at everything. But seriously, we love what BBC does, and we love and that it's just how we roll. It's like their stuff is the best. I wish Hollywood would take a page out of the BBC playbook and say, this is how we should do things, okay? And how we should present our work, and how and like this cultural appropriation of some of these characters and our literature. This is how we should do it, okay? And yes, like I feel like it's night and day. If you like Sherlock Holmes, you like Sherlock Holmes. If you like Poirot, you watch Poirot. Okay, but let's see. I do understand that there is a remake of Death on the Nile. I can't wait to see that. Gal Gadot's gonna be it. So, and of course Kenneth Branagh is directing this. And of course I'm gonna admit this right now. Kenneth Branagh is a very good director. So my high hopes is I hope this Death on the Nile movie is pretty good. I can't wait to see it. So yeah. If I had to pick, all right. If you had to take these super sleuths and put them in a deadly game of cat and mouse, who do you think would come out on top? Would it be Sherlock Holmes' deductive reasoning? Would it be Poirot's like innovative or like nonchalant way of solving things and like his bit of OCD? Whatever is in the word that made Agatha Christie's legend, possible. I think it's a no contest. I think it depends like whether if you. Let's see, if some fantasy writing world, I think if both the estates of both the Conan Doyle estate as well as the Christie estate, if they said, hey, why don't you sell this debate? Let's take our guys, put them in the ultimate detective thing. Let's see who can win. And have them work together or have work them as friend or foe. And just make like a globe-trotting adventure. I would love to see that happen. But till then, we can only hope. But right now, to me, let's see. We have Kenneth Branagh's Death on the Nile. I can't wait to see that. Let's see. I understand Guy Ritchie is planning on putting out another Sherlock Holmes movie. I think at the timing is right because we've seen because I think the way how they did the Sherlock Holmes movies is like they took their time. Like you waited 2-3 years for a sequel. We waited almost 6-7 years now. I think it's now time for another Sherlock Holmes. It may not be perfect. It may not be with Robert Downey Jr., but I would love to see where and how each and every one of these characters evolves from time as time goes on. All right. So I want to hear your thoughts. Okay, who you think would be the better super sleuth? Okay, so that does it for this today. That does it for this season of Just for Giggles. I hope to see you guys in the new year. Stay safe. Thumbs this video. Subscribe my channel. Stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting videos.